Hey, what's cooking YouTube? Chef Salty here. Today I'm going to be explaining to you the best settings for Warzone Season 3 for PC players though. This is going to be involving better frames, better audio, and of course if you're a controller player, better aim assist, and be able to get more high kills in each game that you play. Let's get right into it. I just want to let you all know that I did get my PC professionally optimized, and with his knowledge that he shared with me, I thought it'd be best that I could be able to share that with you. Now, if you are interested in getting your PC professionally optimized, I do have his link in the description below on Twitter. He is on Twitter and his name is Real Tweaks. He's a very great person. He's able to explain it to you very well as far as what he's doing with the process of giving you the best frames and a lot of other settings that he'll be able to work with you on. So highly recommend him if you are interested in getting your PC fully optimized. So for the settings for better frame rates, notice that my VRAM usage right here is relatively low. You want to have it as low as possible to give you the best performing frames when it comes to playing Warzone. Render resolution is 1920 by 1080. That's pretty standard. It's keeping the quality of the stream quite nice. Dynamic resolution frame rate target is going to be at 60. Going down to sync every frame VSync, that's going to be disabled. So custom frame rate, I have it custom to where the game custom frame rate limit is up to 300 and the menu is at 60. Autofocus is at 30. My brightness on here is at 52. I actually am playing around with a couple other brightnesses outside of Warzone, and I'll be able to explain that to you later on in this video. Display gamma is at 2.2, and I have the NVIDIA highlights disabled on top of the NVIDIA GeForce Experience. If you happen to have that on and are using it, your frames are going to be dropping significantly, because I used to have that and I decided to take that completely off. The person I worked with that optimized my PC told me that it's actually taking a lot of your frame rate usage and it's really making the game a lot difficult to use based on the extra filters that you have on there. Here's a very important thing for you PC players. Make sure for your ADS field of view that's on affected. So as far as affected, aiming down sights to a value closer to field of view setting only applies to low magnification levels of less than 3.25, including iron sights. When you're in a gunfight going against other players, this is very difficult for console players because they don't have this option, but aiming down sights, you're really zoomed in when this is independent. When you have it affected, it actually just aims a little bit. It doesn't actually zoom in, so you're able to get more of a field of view all around, and that's going to allow you to be able to take on multiple enemies at once. Now for the quality graphics, this is going to be the most important thing as far as having your VRAM usage up high or having the right settings to where it's relatively low to give you the best frames. So majority of these settings are going to be set to your own defaults, and we have our streaming quality at normal, texture resolution at low, texture filter and particle quality both at high, then the rest of these four are going to be disabled. Next, filmic strength is at 1 and then the film grain is at 0. The NVIDIA DLSS is at performance because it gives me 4K gameplay, and since I stream on YouTube, it gives me very good quality streams for my viewers without any pixelation. Then going down, depth of field, motion blur, and weapon blur is all three of them are going to be disabled. Shadow map resolution is at low, cache spot and sun shadows are both going to be enabled. Particle lighting is at low, DirectX ray tracing disabled, ambient is going to be disabled, and the screen space reflection is also disabled. Now onto the audio settings. Notice that my audio settings right here for the master volume is at 0. I don't want you to have to deal with King Kong and Godzilla in the background, so I normally have it at 100. The audio mix is at boost high. That allows me to have better game sense when it comes to footsteps, someone reloading and replaying in the near area, along with gunshots out in farther parts of the map. However, some people prefer boost low, as all personal preference, and then also someone did midnight mode, which is also another setting that you can try. Play around with it and you'll definitely be able to find the right one that fits best for you. Dialogue volume is going to be at 35, effects is going to be at 100, just because I can be able again to hear footsteps, reloading and replaying from enemies a lot clearer. If you're learning something already from this video and have found some value into this, please hit that like button. It does help out the channel a lot, and I appreciate you for doing that. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss any one of my upcoming videos. Now onto controller settings. This is one of my favorite parts of this video right here, because this doesn't only pertain to PC players but console players as well. So make sure that you can use these settings to give you the high advantage over all enemies in Warzone. Now for the button layout, I'm actually playing tactical. The reason is I'm playing on claw. And what is claw? So when it comes to claw, having claw right here, my right thumb never leaves the right analog stick, and when I'm playing, I'm actually using my pointer fingers to press all 4 buttons. My middle finger is to shoot, and then I have my other hand as far as a standard way of holding the controller. The last part is I have a jump paddle, so where I'm actually just using it just to jump. I'm not getting too technical with 4 paddles on the back. I'm actually just using the 1 paddle, which is allowing me to have the best performing games when it comes to high kills in Warzone. But that might not pertain to you, just because if you're just playing standard controller like this, then I have another setting for you that will be able to give you still high top performance. So if you hold the controller standard and you don't hold the controller like I do with claw, then I recommend doing the bumper jumper tactical. That's going to allow you to prevent your right thumb from moving from the right analog stick and give you the same advantage when it comes to other players playing on claw. So with these new settings, it's going to be a little bit weird at first. I know how it goes. When I first learned how to play claw, it took me about a good 2 weeks to 3 weeks to really kind of master and have that nice muscle memory. But once you achieve these goals and have that muscle memory when it comes to the new settings, you're going to be able to play a lot better in the game. Now, when it comes to Deadzone, I actually have mine relatively low because my drift stick, meaning that when I am not holding the controller itself, it tends to move. That's what drift stick is. It just moves on its own. So I actually have my settings relatively low because it is still relatively a new controller that I'm using. I'm actually using the Scuff Impact Pro. It does really well for me so far. I had it for just under a year and my Deadzone really has not moved much. So you want to make sure that you have it at the lowest possibility, but without having any that's drift stick at all. So this is going to be different for everyone because not everyone's going to be the same. We all have our personal preferences, but it's sensitivity. Sensitivity for me is going to be 6 and 6. I used to play on 5 and 4. The reason why I had the vertical stick on 4 or a little bit lower is because I tend to move my thumb a little bit too far down compared to the right stick because of my aiming. So it all kind of depends on personal preference. I don't recommend having your sensitivity any higher than an 8 or a 9 just because it's going to be a little bit too out of control and you're not going to be hitting your shots as well as some of the other players that you're going up against. And to match that as well, make sure your ADS sensitivity multiplier is low as well. So what does that mean? So when you're ADSing, also known as aim down sights, when you're aiming, you're moving left and right, and I have mine at 0.79, so I'm actually slower. So when I'm actually moving without ADSing, I can be very snappy with 6 and 6 sensitivity. But when I'm aiming, when I see an enemy a little bit farther down range, I can be able to just lock right onto that enemy and hit my shots. I also have my aim response curve to dynamic. Now a lot of players are using dynamic, and you could do standard or linear. I tried both before, but dynamic has worked the best for me because of my fine aim rate control. It helps you lock onto those enemies a lot easier. So give each one a try, see which one works best for you, but I happen to use dynamic. Last part I want to share with you when it comes to aiming is going to be your aim assist. It's going to be standard. And the last part here is scale aim assist with FOV. So I actually had this on enabled and I was not getting the aim assist like I wanted to. I'm not sure exactly what happened. When it comes to the little box right here, it was too fine of an aim assist for me. So when I disabled it, it had a wider box for me to actually aim, and I was able to get a lot better aim assist when it comes to disabling this setting. So play around with it. I recommend having it disabled. Once you do, I'm sure you're going to feel a big difference when it comes to your aiming. Now onto the other parts of your controller settings. This is just going to be as important as far as your aiming along with your sensitivity, because you need to have really good movements and you want to have that fast game play when it comes to higher kills if you're going for that. So I have my use/reload behavior to contextual tap. That allows me to loot chests a lot faster. All I have to do is press it instead of holding. So I can be able to move around the map and loot really fast and collect as much money and ammo that I need before engaging into a gunfight. Another part here is one thing. The biggest thing that I've seen when it comes to players is not plating all the way up when you have a chance or when you're in a gunfight. And I actually have my armor plates behavior to apply all, because all I have to do instead of holding it, I just have to press the armor plate once. It's gonna apply all your armor plates all at once, so I can still move and run around while I'm plating up. If you ever heard the term run as you plate, that's exactly what this setting is for. For better movement, when it comes to slide behavior and moving all around the map, is going to be the tactical sprint. I have single tap from run, so that allows me to have very fast sprint speed each time, along with moving your left analog stick into an automatic tactical sprint. So you're going to be sprinting more than you're actually going to be running. And with the slide behavior that I have, to where I hold the slide behavior, I can just be able to zoom around the map as fast as possible, and you're not going to have any issues. Now on to a little bonus feature, like I mentioned earlier into this video, is going to be increasing the color when it comes to your monitor that allows you to have better quality to your gameplay. Instead of having the GeForce experience on, this is going to be the next best thing to give you still high frames and really nice color. So what I have on here is digital vibrance. Digital vibrance allows you to have your game really nice and clean with a lot of color, and it's going to be a lot more brighter so that you can be able to see enemies as well. So I actually have the sweet spot between 70 to 90. You can go up to 100, but it's all personal preference. So I hope that these settings to give you the best frames per second, to allow you to have better audio, and to change up your controller settings if you are having trouble when it comes to winning those gunfights. All this was explained right here, and I hope that you're able to learn something and be able to achieve your goals to having better PRs, higher KDs, and more wins. If you have any other questions though, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, you can catch me live on YouTube here every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. I appreciate each and every one of you. GG's.